It turns out you have to be actually logged in to start the show. All right, howdy everybody. So we are on, I don't know, some part 3. Yes, part 3. What is a threat? Personal protection for the believer. So, what is a threat? So it's a noun, a statement of an intention to inflict pain, injury, damage, or other hostile action on someone in retribution for something done or not done. That's the Webster's definition. Typically, we think of a threat as a promise of physical harm from someone we know or are familiar with. Now, there's a few things they're going to look at, them being the legal system. When it comes up that you have used physical force or deadly physical force to protect yourself from a threat, especially when it's somebody you are familiar with that you know. Do you believe them? Right? Are they a liar? Are they capable of do they have a history of doing such things? Is the threat immediate? Right? So if your cousin is arguing with you on the phone from 3 states away and says, well, I'm going to come over there and chop your head off. That's not a very immediate threat. Do they have the means to follow through with the threat? Right? If someone's standing 3 feet away from you next to a pile of wood and says, I'm going to beat you to death, and they have a generously sized stick at arm's reach, that's a pretty immediate, and it's also giving them the means right there. If Stephen Hawking is on the other side of the room, so naturally this is in the past, and he says, I'm going to beat you with a 2x4, does he have the means to do that? Probably not. So it has to be credible to be believed. Now, when you are in public, an unidentified threat may present itself. What is this? Unidentified threat could be the convenience store where you're at, where you're buying a candy bar is suddenly being robbed. You're pumping gas and someone pops out and says, give me your purse. Right? Could be any number of things. By necessity, if you're in public, you will need to assess the situation quickly and respond accordingly. Now, when this happens, if you get into a situation where your life or limb is put in jeopardy, some states mandate that when you are threatened, you must retreat from the situation, even if the threat is from a stranger in your own home. I'm looking at New Jersey right now. But there are other states that are just as psychotic and crazy as that, right? You have to flee your house, if at all possible, in these states. If you don't know what the law is in your state, look it up. All the laws for your state are posted online. While most states have a castle doctrine, many still require that if you are in public, you must attempt to retreat from a threat. That means run away. If you don't like that, and that's the law in your state, you need to start lobbying or deal with it. Some states have stand your ground laws, which is essentially castle doctrine in public. Briefly and simply stated, if you are in a place you have a legal right to be conducting legal activity, you have a legal right when threatened to, quote, stand your ground. E.g., you have no mandate to retreat if you live in a state that has a stand your ground law. Now, your state may be worded a little differently. So you need to look this up. And this is something that I ran into quite often, is people would move to my state, Arizona, from another state and start telling the class what the law was. Well, they were talking about their old state. And half the time, and more than that, they were incorrect about what that law was in their state. You need to learn these things if you are going to take upon yourself the ability and means to protect yourself with physical force and or deadly physical force. You need to learn the law, what is expected of you in certain situations. So that is it for threat. And next we are going to be looking at situational awareness. Howdy, Brother Pete. And that probably won't be out till tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. Oh yeah, maybe tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow. Depends on how nostalgic I'm feeling. Anyways, we'll see. Anyways, I love you all. Have a great evening.